So, hello Anupria, welcome to Bollywood Bubble. And how are you? How are things going with you during this lockdown period?
I think things have been more all right, as in it's been almost 5 months now. So a very, 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 very long time
Yeah.
inside the house. So a couple of months, the beginning, pretty okay because we got time with ourselves after so long. Last 1 month has become a little bit more exhaustive in that sense. I mean, I'm just feeling a little lost. But yeah, there's still a lot of work to do, a lot of stuff to catch up on. So yeah, that way there is no problem.
Okay. Your upcoming film, Mere Desh Ki Dharti, is up for release. So, if you could tell us more about the film and how and what stage did it come to you?
So we shot for this film somewhere in December actually. It came to me when everything about it was almost decided in terms of the script, in terms of the cast, and I was the last person in that sense to join the film per se. I really loved meeting the director, Faraz Heather. He's someone who's socially very, aware, and he has a lot of strong ideas and opinions about many things around us in the society. That kind of thing inspired me. I had very long, nice conversations with him about various things. So, and the film also is something extremely close to my heart in terms of the subject that it deals with. And I've always wanted to play a rural character. It's always interested me, that side of the world. And I've always wanted to imbibe a rural character and see how the dialect would be, how would I fit in, the body language would change, and all those things as an actor has always excited me. And so yeah, when this came to me and I met Faraz sir, really enjoyed meeting him. I think Devendra is a fantabulous actor. Anant, who's another lead in the film, is also someone I'd worked with in Tigers in the Hair. And I enjoy his sensibility as an actor. Yeah, I think that's why I got attached to the project. And very film.
And would you like to shed some light on your character?
As I said, I'm playing a rural girl who, as such, comes from a well-off family in that setup. You know, her father is money-wise much more capable and settled as compared to the other counterparts, and the society that they travel in. He's one of the known guys there, and she's very righteous. She has very strong social values. A little conflict with her father. She is a rebel with a cause, but a strong person who just needs a sense of direction. So it's about coming of age, wherein she finds strength within the people she meets and inspire her. And she also takes a strong standpoint in terms of, what she wants to pursue in her journey further. So that.
Okay. And when you do a big budget film like a war, and then of course a more rooted film like Mere Desh Ki Dharti. So there's a difference between how you pitch your characters. In those films, in films like war, it's more of how you deal with the imagination. Here, it's more like how you activate your inner conscious, because these are the lived experiences that you have come up. What are such similar things that you find when you work in two different set of films like Mere Desh Ki Dharti or War?
That's a very good question, actually, Akshay.
Thank you.
So, see, the thing is that for me, even this was a part of imagination only, to be very honest, right? Because I haven't seen that life. It's something very external to me. I have never lived in the rural setup at all. I've never had my family or my extended relatives who stayed there, and I've never seen that life at all. Some of us have. So for me, that was also very outwardly experienced that way. I loved interacting with the villagers there and the people and the women. I used to be completely fascinated just watching them, just hearing them talk, and that really helped me kind of imbibe more into my own character. Of course, the setups are very different. You're right, because one is war where it's larger than life. The cast is also larger than life, and the whole of positioning and kind of the bringing a project together is extremely lavish and very flamboyant.
Yeah.
And why the suit of your character also needs to be a little stylized. So that is something I learned in war. I've always been a very natural actor, and even though I've been part of big budget movies before, my characters have been very internal, and I've never had to feel that whether I need to stylize them in any sense. They've always found an inner attitude, you know. War is the first time where I had to think and kind of at least uh, contemplate whether I need to bring about a certain stylized energy to the character because of the whole tune of the film, so that I'm not the odd person out. You have to be natural, but in the format that it is, and that's a different experience. And Mere Desh Ki Dharti, that way again in the setting is extremely rooted because of its rural background. In the production style, in the time, in the way we are approaching the story, it's very intimate. The way the story is being told. And yeah, I mean, it's far more lived through character per se that way. So, but the worlds are again very different from that of my immediate world. So again, it was about adapting to a certain strata, living the life in a certain way. I mean, for me, even sitting and talking and the ledger is also extremely different. The way I'm used to talking. So a certain part of perception and imagination has to be used there too. And I think I think as an actor, you should be able to dabble with all sorts of circumstances and scales of production with equal ease. So I've never imagined having a problem with that. So it wasn't difficult in that way, but I think वो अपने आप ही आप जब एक set पे जाते हो एक certain atmosphere में होते हो अपने आप ही उसको अपने वो tuning आ जाती है without having to make any conscious shifts. As long as you're meeting the shift as in the character within you, वो बाकी सारी चीजें अपने आप kind of
they fall in place eventually. And talking about your co-stars, you have some amazing set of actors in addition to Divyendu and Anand. There's Brajendra Kalaji, there's Rajesh Sharma ji, Enamul, and Farooq. These all people. So, how was the working experience of working with such diverse set of actors?
It was beautiful. Like, I think that's my biggest takeaway because all these people are great storytellers also, off camera as well. And I think many times क्या होता है कि I've been a part of ensembles wherein there are great actors in the film, but not necessarily you have scenes with all of them. And it's not necessary that you have scenes with all of them at the same time. In Voyage, you will find many such instances where all of us are together at the same time on the set, doing one particular thing. There are a lot of those ensemble scenes per se. So the energy on the set used to be something else. And these are such rooted, beautiful, real actors who just enjoy the craft. So वो भी एक सीखने को बहुत मिलता है कि आप बस आके अपना काम कर रहे हो, मस्ती कर रहे हो उस एटमॉस्फेयर में, एंड आप फिर एक अलग धुनकी में हो, लाइक, एंड वो एकदम फिट इन करता था. हमारे पास काफी विलेजर्स भी थे जो पार्ट हैं इस मूवी के. द लोकल कास्ट वर रियल in terms of been picked up from the real setups. And they were so surprising themselves. First of all, they were extremely natural. और उनकी अपनी characteristics और उनकी अपनी quirkiness इतनी ज़्यादा थी उनमें कि उनको देखने में भी बहुत मजा आता था. There used to be a lot of cross interaction like that also. So and Vijayendra sir I fell in love with. I wanted to just get him home, like not let him go at all. So I had a great time working with Rajesh sir and Imam and Vijay sir. It was a lovely experience.
Okay, and which would be your favorite song from the album? If you have to pick one.
I think the title track, the one that is coming out on the 14th, it's extremely nice because it has a very, I think nostalgic value to it. And I've always loved the movie it's been referred from. So it was very close to my heart that way कि आपने एक चीज को बचपन से देखा हो and you kind of idolized a certain movie and then you're able to bring it back to life in some sense at least, and be in a similar setting. So I think that way it was very close to my heart. It has a very special place for that reason.
Okay. And from what I've learned, the film also talks about second chances in life. So would you like to share an instance wherein a second chance did have a significant impact on the course of your life, or it changed it completely?
Right. Yeah, I think I've had 3 chances. So, like, because I've come from a business family. I started out doing business with my father, and then I shut shop in my college years. Then I started doing, corporate work. That was a new lease of life for me. Then I shifted to acting. So I've transitioned from 3 major lifestyles per se, not just professional. It's like there've been total lifestyle changes, to say so. And my interactions and the way of interacting with each strata has been extremely different also, because in business you have a certain liberty, a certain responsibility, and you are a certain position in terms of dealing with your workers, with your clients, and all of that.
Yeah.
At a job, it's very different. It's more of a team effort, and in acting, it's again very different. You're a single person. You are the instrument per se, and then again, but you're interacting with the team and working with the things together. So yeah, I mean, and I don't know whether you would call it a second chance in life, but it's about always reinventing yourself for sure. I think obviously these been big transitions for me per se, and like in my business, I've seen a lot of downfall, and then we kind of reinvented and took another route, and then again in corporates, I felt that no, I was feeling exhausted, so I shifted again, and I kind of reinvented myself here, and now let's see where the journey goes. But within each of these journeys, also there are many times you feel lost, and you need to take stock of your life again, and infuse yourself with fresh perspective, fresh energy. Keep revitalizing yourself every other day. And you're bound to make mistakes all the time. Every time you realize that you've made a mistake, and then taken stock of it, and then again, kind of realigned yourself and move forward. I think it's again giving yourself a chance. The idea is to give chances to yourself as well as to others around you.
Okay. And you spoke about you had a corporate profile. So, what kind of profile did you exactly work in? If you could share.
Yeah, of course. I initially started off working in a call center.
Okay.
So what happened was, because I used to work in my father's factory, and I was barely out of school by then. I was 17, 18, I think. And my mother, father, and me both were in business. All 3 of us were in the same business. So it was basically the same conversations at office, the same conversations at home. We were eating, sleeping, talking business all the time. I needed some fresh energy, and that's when I realized I only have nighttime available to me if I want to do something, consecutively. So I picked up to do corporate jobs, and I was the first person in my family to do anything in the MNCs, and I love that world. Those cubicles, those lavish offices, like no tension. कि अरे इतना महीने का मिल रहा है, बहुत अच्छा है, मुझे किसी और की सैलरी के बारे में नहीं सुनना है. And I felt I have a career graph in front of me, because I was promoted a couple of times in the beginning. So I felt this is a way of life and this is my career. But then obviously the body clock doesn't sustain it for too long. Of night lifestyle and person. So then I started working as an executive assistant.
Okay.
Because honestly speaking, I did not have much of a educational background. I just barely finished my college, and I hardly went to college per se, if you look at it. So I didn't have an MBA degree, or a science degree, or maybe anything of that sort, a commerce degree per se to really take it forward. So I started working as an executive assistant, which is more like a glorified secretary. But it's also about if you're working with the top brass. So I had always worked with CEOs and the group CEOs. So then if you're good at it, you might as well, there's a chance that you'll be doing very important work, because you're assisting the top man, or the top brass in the company. So you'll get accustomed and initiated with a lot of interesting and happenings in the company, and all of that. And if you're just about doing the basics, you'll be as much as photocopying things and setting up calls and setting up dinner. So it was like a huge graph like that. At one point, you're doing the basic as well as very interesting stuff, because all the HODs had to work through you. So you had an insight into a lot of things that were happening. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, to be very honest. It was a very financial and an administrative role per se.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, but then came a point where I wanted to do something creative and I did not know what. So it started off theater and then life took its own turn.
But you have juggled between different job profiles. You have done your family business, then corporate, then you have done ads also. So there's, I see a lot of people interaction in each of your profile, be it business or your corporate job, or while working in ads. So dealing with people help you today in portraying your characters or shaping up your characters.
Definitely. I think because I've seen a lot of stratas of life. Like when I was in my business, handling my father's business, and especially when I had to wrap it up. So obviously, when हम लोगों का होता था this manufacturing and export of garments. That's what we were primarily into. So we used to have a lot of workers, doing the stitching and the production of costumes and outfits. As well as obviously, I had my clients. I was handling the marketing side. I was dealing with the bankers and stuff like that. So we come in touch with different stratas of people with different mindsets and the way they talk and the way they think.
Yeah.
Because you obviously are dealing with them on a day-to-day basis.
Mhm.
That happened. And while I was wrapping it up, I had a lot of interaction with the legal world as well.
Mhm.
Insurance companies and banks and legal aspects of it and lawyers and this, that, the other. So उससे भी मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला था. And thankfully, I was very, very young at that time. So what happens is you soak in a lot more
Yeah.
unconsciously as well. So I think that has really helped me in terms of approaching my professional characters. So, and the body language kind of comes in much more easily and naturally. That's why I don't have to force it too much. Then again, when I was working in the corporate world, I was an assistant to the group CEOs and the top brass again. So I know the difference how a businessman who maybe the MD of a company would act and how a CEO is acting because he's still a salaried individual.
Yeah.
But again, and someone who's far more maybe worldly wise in some sense and far more educated per se in terms of basic education as we call it, because they've all come from the IITs and IIMs of the world and stuff like that. And the way of interaction is probably very different. But then again, there's a certain air, but a different sort of air in both.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I was dealing with everybody within the companies also from different levels. So, yeah, those things have really helped me. And now, honestly speaking, this film world has taught me far more than anywhere, because you're your own instrument, as I said. Everywhere else, there was a support system per se. When I was in my father's business or in a corporate setup, you still have other people around you. In this space, it's all you from the word go. And it's a very lonely journey like that. And you don't have any, like at least I didn't have any, upfront guidance per se, which was, आपने ये काम किया है तब आप एक कंपनी में जाते हैं तो आपको ओरिएंटेशन मिलता है. आपके कुछ लोग हैं एचआर में यहाँ वहाँ जो उनका काम होता है आपको सपोर्ट करना या आपको एक्लिमेटाइज करना. यहाँ ऐसा कोई नहीं है कि जिसका काम है मुझे सपोर्ट करना या एक्लिमेटाइज करना. सेल्फ लर्निंग बहुत ज्यादा, यहाँ जितनी सेल्फ लर्निंग होती है शायद ही और कहीं होती है. बिजनेस में थी काफी हद तक because of the wrapping up and there were so many other things that I had to take care of at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really helped me in understanding characters, in getting the sur somewhere. Right. Of course, जैसा कि मैंने नागमती का कैरेक्टर किया तो उसके लिए मेरे पास कोई रेफरेंस पॉइंट नहीं है. या मैंने वॉर में भी जो अदिति का कैरेक्टर किया तो उसके लिए कोई रेफरेंस पॉइंट नहीं था मेरे पास इन माय रियल लाइफ. या इवन इन मेरे देश की धरती जो मेरा कैरेक्टर थी वो मेरे लिए बहुत अलग था बिकॉज वो मेरी लाइफ कभी नहीं रही है. तो मुझे मैंने रियलाइज किया कि कितना जरूरी है हम सबके लिए at least as actors to at least go there and spend time in gowns and villages, to get a more insightful knowledge about them. I don't know whether I'm a people's person. I don't think I'm that. वो तो मैं नहीं, लेकिन हाँ, characters में help मिलती है.
Okay. And you said something like, that in films it's a lonely journey. Now, I would like to know, why did you say so? Because film, at the end of the day, it's a collaborative art form. Different artists from different backgrounds, they come together and make a film, be it costumes or art directors or production design or lighting or cinematography.
Yeah.
So, what made you say that film, working in films is a lonely journey? Because here you have a conglomerate of artists coming together.
Yeah. So no, what I think that came out the way that way actually, because I wasn't talking about on-set experiences alone.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about finding work, the whole process of establishing yourself, finding work, going through that struggle, figuring things out on your own. I was talking about that primarily. On-set is a great time for all of us, mostly. Of course, there are ups and downs, and there are things to kind of juggle and put together and work out. But yeah, you are right. Over there, you have a lot of support. You have your director, first of all, more than anything else. Then you have a cinematographer, you have the production people. There is everybody, and your co-actors. So, but I was talking about what we deal with being as actors alone by ourselves when we are putting ourselves out there. For instance, in this interview, now I have a team of people who can guide me and tell me and help me out. But in the beginning, if I were to do an interview, I wouldn't really have anyone to say कि अच्छा मैं क्या बोलूँगी नहीं बोलूँगी कैसे होगा कैसा होता है तो वो सब आपको अपने आप फिगर आउट करना पड़ता है मैं छोटी चीज के बारे में बात कर रही हूँ जनरली एट लार्ज मेरा मतलब था कहने का कि जैसे अगर मैं बिजनेस सेटअप में थी तो मेरे पेरेंट्स थे जो मैंने ही फिर फाइनली आई टुक ओवर बट एटलीस्ट थे और एटलीस्ट एक सेटअप था जो मेरा था यू नो उसके अपने अप्स एंड डाउन थे बहुत सारे स्ट्रगल्स थे लेकिन आपके पास एक कोई प्लेटफॉर्म था वो अगर आप कंपनी में ज्वाइन करते हो तो आपको एक डेढ़ महीना काफी सपोर्ट सिस्टम आसपास होता है आपको वो बोनस मिलता है टाइम का कि अच्छा यू आर न्यू यू टेक टाइम टू settle down. Of course, you have to be good at your job and pick up things and deal with things. Everyone is dealing with things all the time. But yeah, this is all about working with yourself and by yourself and for yourself. You know, so that way it's far more a lonely job. Because as I said, the actors are an instrument in ourselves, right? This is our instrument.
Yeah. Okay. And talking about what's been happening all around, these are some unprecedented times. Unusual times that we have been witnessing. And so do you see a major behavioral change coming up in the near future because of the pandemic and once everything settles down?
I surely hope so. I really hope so. Because I think this was a wake-up call for all of us, of how we look at nature, how we look at our society, how we look at our surroundings per se. And I think, like we've all been saying this, that I think this was the Earth's wake-up call. It needed this break. Our nature needed this break. Our universe needed it in order to safeguard itself. In some sense, it's that also. That's the silver lining. And we've all got a lot of time to self-reflect. We've all understood that life is so fickle. Finally, whatever we are chasing maybe is not as important as the basic moments of happiness, of health, more than anything else. Like, and it's going to be an ongoing struggle to keep, reiterating these things to ourselves. I think the need of the hour is self-reflection more than anything else. I mean, rather than expecting everyone else to change, it's about how are you changing. And each one of us need to do that. Like I've been telling myself that I need to approach everybody with far more compassion, far more benefit of doubt, And even if someone is making me upset or making me tear my hair apart, I need to still think and give them the benefit of doubt, and maybe they are having their own struggles. So I think that kind of compassion, if we start to build in day-to-day life, would really help all of us a lot more.
Okay. And talking about self-reflection, so when you're all by yourself, it's kind of a double-edged sword. In the sense that, in positive, it can really help you to work on yourself. But in the negative sense, it can be, really disturbing for the mind, the times that we're living, the stress. So how are you keeping yourself calm and composed, when everything around the world is going, crazy?
sometimes I'm able to do a good job, sometimes I fail at it miserably.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having those ups and downs, each day is different.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the beginning was far more easier that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited about getting the time and doing things
Mm-hmm.
on my own. And I had so much of pending work, honestly, from my dad's time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this, which was like years ago, a lot of work was pending. So I think my 2 months went in just sitting on the laptop, finishing off things, like literally from morning 8 to 10 p.m. in the night.
Mm-hmm.
So that time I didn't even realize how it flew off. And after that, I started maintaining a routine. I started reading and writing and sketching. I picked up sketching after a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've been listening to music a lot, watching a lot of stuff on the OTT platform, and obviously self-reflecting. Like, one thing I realized is that we all have a lot of fears.
Yeah.
And many a times we are functioning out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're living a very independent lifestyle, doing things that we truly want to do, following our passion.
Mm-hmm.
But many a times, many things that we do is out of fear rather than of really wanting to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, during this whole 4 months, there was very little compulsion because the world was shut.
Yeah.
So mostly we were doing things that we really wanted to do exactly when we wanted to do them, right? So, and anxiety was there because the air is so anxious right now. There's something in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
There is a sort of anxiousness. I, for one, also, I mean, I'm sure all of us really realize that what privilege really is.
Yeah.
Like with all the migrant population, how they have suffered, how there was so much misery. So there was a time I was feeling very bad of even having a good time.
Yeah.
Because I started feeling responsible and how can I? Because in the beginning when it happened, I was laughing and saying, "Kare, very good. I'm resting, chilling." And in a week, I got to realize, Kare, so many people are, really suffering.
No, sense of guilt kicks in. That's very natural.
Couple of days, I was feeling very guilty, and I didn't even know what to do exactly. But then, it just everything felt wrong. I took off from social media because of that also for some time, because it just felt like posting anything is so futile right now and so frivolous. While people are really walking miles just to be home, or they are dying on the streets, or they've lost their way of livelihood. So you can help as much as, and there are many people who've gone out and really been physically helping, which is so commendable. I do whatever I could. But yeah, so it's been a bag of mixed emotions. I think the only way to deal with it is to, first of all, accept the way you're feeling, not run away from that.
Yeah.
What happens is that हम लोग जब generally life अपनी चला रहे होते हैं, काम कर रहे होते हैं, तो we are so used to just hopping around and doing one thing after the other, and obviously we are interacting with people, we are running from pillar to post, so we kind of suppress our real emotions.
Yeah.
And we don't have to face them because there's so much chaos around us. Such an atmosphere, you're forced to face them because there is not that usual chaos that is around you at all times. So I think I've learned to kind of face them, at least to at least accept them. That's why I've started writing a lot. As a ritual, I write every day now a little bit about how I'm feeling, just to at least accept that. And I mean, yeah, ideally meditation, writing, listening to music, doing a small routine, following that, talking to people, and letting out your feelings really, really help. I mean, it's much more than we give it its due credit. And that's the only way to really survive, to keep thinking about what else do you want to add on to yourself as your skill set. It's not very easy. More easy said than done. But I think that's the only way to, and again, to be compassionate to one another. I think to not keep judging one another all the time. If you stop judging people around you, I think that change will start.
And life will be more easier that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're so used to placing judgments. And that's where that fear also comes, because you are judging someone, you feel that someone is judging you. So it's like a reflective thing.
Cool. So with that, we have reached the end of our conversation. I would like to know if there was something that I may have missed asking as a question and you would have loved to answer.
No, I think We've had a brilliant discussion, Akshay. I really enjoyed your questions. Very insightful questions.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So on that note, thanks a lot. Thank you so much for talking to us, and I wish you all the best for Mere Desh Ki Dharti.
Yeah, thank you so much. Be well and be safe.
Bye bye. Take care. Bye bye.